Welcome to the Downtown, brought to you by Arlington Citizen Media. I am Daryl Smith Jr., and across the internet for me is...
I am Roddy John, and across the internet for me is... Amy is on sabbatical. She will be back next week.
On today's show, we talk with Dream Feed about how they got together, their favorite place to play in Arlington, and if there is an album or EP in their future.
We also speak to the voice of your Texas Rangers. Eric Nadel joins us. We talk to him about how he got into sports broadcasting, which Hall of Fame means the most to him, and where he gets his need to give back comes from.
Man, when we started this, if you had told me that we would get the voice of the Texas Rangers, I would say you're crazy.
I thought the exact same thing. I was like, he's too big. Why would he even want to talk to Nadel? Couldn't have been a nicer guy.
Well, I'm excited I wasn't there for it, but I'm excited to listen to it, and I'm sure it's a great interview. It sounds like it was.
Yeah, we recorded it live at Inclusion Coffee, so thank you, Inclusion Coffee, for having us. And it's funny when you talk to somebody like, to me, Eric Nadel is a very big part of kind of not my childhood, but as a Ranger fan growing up, when it's on the radio, Eric Nadel was there, and then he sometimes would be on TV and stuff, and so in my mind, I'm like, I don't think anybody around here knows that this is Eric Nadel. And this is a huge deal. Yeah,
you're freaking out. Oh, this is so cool. And everyone's like, why is this guy freaking out? He's just talking to a guy.
This guy talking to this old guy. I don't get what's going on. But no, Eric Nadel couldn't have been a nicer guy. Fantastic interview. And, of course he's got the voice for it. That's what he does for a living. So.
That's what he does. Exactly. That's what they pay him the big bucks, or at least the medium bucks for.
Right. That's why he's in at least a couple Hall of Fames.
So we have a show coming up.
We do. First live show.
First live show. We're going to do a live recording for our 100th show. We're going to celebrate our 100th show. And guess what? We want you to come with us. We want you to come out. It's going to be Saturday, September 25th, 7 p.m. at Dr. Jekyll's. Come out, have a beer.
We're going to have our own specially made beer. Unfortunately, it is not division or legal, but in the future, maybe. But we have a very close personal friend to the show and us in real life. We're not going to tell you who, but it is a surprise, and he is making a fantastic beer. I had a sample of the first batch. We're going to have a little more tweaks, but it is going to be fantastic.
So come celebrate with us for this secret special beer brewed by our secret special friend. As we record our first live show for the love of Arlington with a roundtable of friends and guests to discuss Arlington and our 100th episode with some cool surprises as well. We've already mentioned a couple of guests. We're working on a couple more, but Dr. Barbara Odom Wesley from the Arlington City Council will be there, and good friend of the pod, Garrett Martin, will be there as well.
He's going to be, at that point, I guess, a little sneak peek. We're going to get him again coming soon. He's going to be our 7-time guest.
7-time guest.
Yeah. He's already our first 5-timer, which we might just need to bring in so he wears it the entire time.
Yeah, well, we should, one number for sure. You can get pictures with the 5-timer jacket if you want. But Garrett he's really just an honorary co-host at this point. He's been on so often that he's been on almost 10% of our episodes. So, anyway, but yes, come out to that, please. We're going to get the Facebook invite up this week, and we'll be inviting you guys all, or all of y'all out. I do want to give a little Patreon update, a little shout out to everyone. If you don't know, we are on Patreon, and we would love the support. We got some cool, things there if you'd like to check that out. But it's Arlington. It's just patreon.com/Arlington Citizen Media. One of the cool things we do is a Patreon shout out. And so I'd like to give a Patreon shout out to our friend, Brian, good friend of ours personally and of the pod, and also to Brandon McLaughlin, who last week, incredible show, incredible music he put together in the studio for us. Brandon McLaughlin, Brian Prado, thank you so much for your support. If you'd like to be a supporter, just go on, we got a couple tiers. You can check that out. Definitely want to check out Brandon McLaughlin. You can follow him at Instagram.com/Brandon McLaughlin Music, Facebook.com, Brandon McLaughlin Music, and Twitter.com, Burrito_Brandon.
And you could follow Brian Fratto on Instagram. It's not as fun as you think it is.
Well, if you know him, it's actually what you think it is.
Yeah. But he does have a second one that Oh no, he didn't. I'm sorry. He does do this brew or poo post sometimes because he does make beer. And so in the toilet, is it brew or is it poo?
I hope it's always brew, but
it's always brew.
Good. This is a much better Instagram. So I guess outside of all that, what have you been up to? I was not here last week, so I'll let you take it away.
Yeah. I went to HTO for the first time. I met the general manager, Ricky. Couldn't have been a nicer guy. He said he could tell this was my first time in there. He had me take a little cup and try every single one of them. And
what's your verdict?
I like the mint one. They have a chai one as well that is really good. What else? They had mint chai. They have a strawberry mint. They have a peach that is fantastic. A blueberry that's amazing. I haven't had a bad one. What's funny is that every flavor they have basically, they have a sweet and unsweet version. So in case you are not big on sweet teas, they got the unsweet version, so you can try it and you'll love it. That drive-through was constantly busy, and there was people just coming in and out of it because you can walk in. They have all of them set up, so you can fill up as you want. Or if you don't want to get out of your car, go through the drive-through and you're good to go.
Sounds awesome. It's in my neck of the woods, a little further north actually than my neck of the woods. But I've got a family of tea drinkers, so I'm sure that I will be there before long.
Yeah, just North Collins there, north of 30 and north of Lamar. It's really good. I like that place a lot.
So did he spill the tea as well as give you some tea?
Well, hopefully we are going to set up an interview later. We had a great conversation just about the, city of Arlington in general, because we're just trying to figure each other out, and that's what it's all about, is connecting people within the community. And he's looking for bright things in this future as well. He actually said something that I haven't heard anybody say. I'm sure somebody has. I just hadn't heard it yet. That Arlington is more than just like the Orlando of North Texas. And I was like, that's absolutely perfect, because they have all the amusement parks and they got some, you see some live sports teams there, but what else really is there to Orlando? No offense to Orlando. I've been there. But Arlington has so much more than the amusement parks and the sports teams. So I thought it was a great comparison, and I had never heard that before.
And that's the tea.
All right, we are here with a local band called Dream Feed. How are you guys all doing?
Great.
Good. All right, so first off, I'd like you guys to introduce yourselves and say what instrument you play.
All right, go ahead.
I'm Gabe Roth. I play the guitar.
All right, I'm Roxy. I'm the vocalist.
I'm Lewis. I play the bass.
And I'm Justin. I play the drums.
Nice. Well, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming so early.
It's not too early.
Yeah.
It just feels early for musicians, I guess.
That's what I'm saying.
Our lives are the nightlife.
Exactly.
I'm a dad, so I was up at 7, looking at everyone's yard, going, I'm just kidding. I don't cut my own yard. So.
We're not quite there yet.
So, how did you guys get together? How did you meet? You're a relatively new band. So,
man.
How did you meet?
I love telling this story.
Honestly, you got it? You want to say it?
Okay, yeah. So I had been out of the music scene for a while, and then I went out to Caves, which is the spot. That's where I go all the time. And of course, Lewis, I think you were living down the street, and so he was there that night. And him and I had met previously, and we had kind of spoken before a little bit here and there, but nothing ever really happened.
We were almost in another band together at some point.
Okay.
Yeah, but we didn't really do anything with that. So when we met up at Caves, he ended up just talking to me for like an hour about how he wanted to start a band, and I was just like, okay, dude, we'll do that. He's like, no, I'm so serious, please. Like, I'm not joking around. This is gonna happen. I'm so serious about it. And I was like, all right, Lewis, all right.
All right.
That's how I felt. I was like, relax. But he ended up bringing these two along, and it just kind of worked out really well.
So what was your side of the story, Lewis?
I mean, that's pretty much it. I just feel like a lot of times people say, let's start a band. But
I can't tell you how many times I've said that and then not started those bands.
Yeah.
So.
I just wanted to make sure you knew I was serious. That's all I know.
I knew, man.
That's how
I
you
believe
know.
you.
When they go, I'm serious.
Yeah, but I've said that too.
But no, they slam their hand up like, no, but I'm serious.
I've only done that twice, and you know what? 2 times those bands came to fruition. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's how it works.
So how would you describe your music to people?
Oof.
I'd say we're not limited in one genre. By any
Okay.
means whatsoever. We kind of pull from many things like rock, neo soul, R&B,
Jazz.
jazz, a little funk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of different things. It's really hard when people ask that. I never know what
Yeah,
to say.
and like after I listened to your music, I kind of said the same thing. I was like, well, I'm gonna ask this question, but like I want them to try to talk about it. And I think that's kind of like I wouldn't say like that's a prevalent thing here in the Arlington music scene, but I do think that you're seeing more of those mixing of genres and less. It's got to be one specific type of music because, like you said, you know, you're pulling from all these diverse and different musical backgrounds to create something different and new, which is exactly what I was like when I heard. I like saw a video and I was like, yes, like that new. That's how I would describe it. Kind of like a new,
Like a neo rock, kind of neo funk, neo.
Yeah, I mean maybe, but like
Just neo.
We're Neo.
just neo.
We're just neo. It's a new genre, guys.
The artist.
So who are some of y'all's influences? I guess individually, let's go around.
Oh, individually. Gabe, you want to start?
Oh, we really rotate and really who kind of starts a song. And so, like for me, I love the Parcels, funk, French pop. I've been really into lately.
Wow.
So there's like quite a few that.
Could you give us some French pop people that man I know?
Who are some French pop bangers?
What's happening over there?
Polo Pan and Ellen Peretrance.
Look at his eyes. He
Yeah,
loves
he's
it.
Intense.
Passionate.
Intense love. Intense love.
I'm gonna check that out. Just you sold me.
It's actually really
I
good
mean, his
stuff.
eyes sold me. I was.
He
like,
sends me music, and I'm just like, whoa, what is this? This is fantastic, Gabe.
All right.
Turns me on to good stuff. So, okay, for me, I guess I'd say like Amy Winehouse, definitely older stuff like Ray Charles.
Janice.
Nah, everybody tells me that, but honestly, I haven't given her the time that I should. Everybody asks me. I understand why.
Yeah.
But no. Yeah, like old soul, really. That's kind of what I like in funk.
Yeah. Oh, and Melanie Martinez.
Melanie Martinez too.
Yes.
Love her. I wouldn't say she's an influence, but I definitely love her stuff.
Yeah.
Me, I'm kind of more of a sad indie boy type, you know. So I like stuff. I like indie and alternative stuff a lot, but I also have a love for funk and jazz as well. Like I'm a Miles Davis and John Coltrane stan.
Very nice.
Miles Davis, nice.
Yeah, you know.
He's a guy.
like what
Miles
era
Davis.
though? Like all Miles, like Bitches Brew
Oh,
Miles
I was
Davis.
gonna say, I'm
or-
more of the older stuff. Like when he started getting like weird doing it when jazz was dying, I wasn't as
Gotcha.
I'm not as into that. I mean, it's good, and he was out here doing this thing, but that was not for me. I'm more like just more the bebop
Gotcha.
stuff, and stuff that makes you cry, you know,
okay.
stuff like that. But yeah, so etc. etc. And as far as bass players, I like Victor Wooten a lot. I mean, I don't know what bass player doesn't.
Yeah.
And Jacob Storius, he was also the guy.
Used
Yeah,
to play
so
that
all-
bass he'd drag around, right? I'm sorry.
No, that's my
I saw you out of the corner of my eye, and I was like, no.
same. It's like I was like, oh. No, I mean all of them are just copying my answers. So I put them on everything. So.
Okay.
No,
You're the
no,
French pop
I
guy.
listen
It's
to-
kind of true.
outside of the French pop.
He's actually into Portugal pop.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
More
That Iberian
Portugal.
Peninsula.
Totally different.
Portugal pop actually sounds more interesting. I don't
does.
know.
Yeah.
No,
We're gonna start a band now.
I
called
listen
Portugal
to like pretty much all of the things besides I'm not super I'm not listening to Al Green as much as Roxy, but yeah, because I rap too, so I listen to probably more rap music as well as all the other music because I make indie music with Lewis and our other band. So
What's the other band called?
Cherry Mantis, we play.
Oh, duh.
Oh.
Gabe's in it,
Gabe's
too.
also in there.
Yeah,
So
he
you,
also makes me.
you guys started another band? You're
Yeah.
like, we like playing music together so much that we want to play French pop music. and then Roxy was like, wait, hold on, I don't want
We're
to play French
so
pop.
serious. We're so serious.
That's how it goes. Yeah.
Okay, how would you say that those, because those are pretty varied influences, how would you say that has, how has that defined how you write songs together? Like, does one person come with the music, or do you guys write together, or like how does the creative process work?
I'd say like mostly either one of these two will come with something. They'll bring something and be like, hey, I was kind of working on this. And we'll just kind of build on top of it. He'll throw something on there. I'll find a melody, throw some words on there later. But we generally, the song kind of writes itself mostly. That's what I'd say.
You like groove on it until you
well,
find
when
it?
you find a good group of people that actually,
Well, I've
it's
been in
easy.
band. I
It
get it
becomes
100%.
easier.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, it's not hard when
Yeah.
you find the right group of people.
And
That's
then,
what's
you know,
cool about bands.
the fine tweaking later.
Yeah.
Figuring out if we actually like the structure that we have, which usually we do. Just that we don't
Have you ever
often
been
have to
like,
go
no,
back and
I don't
change.
like it? You're like, never mind. We worked on this for a week. Change it.
That's me.
Okay.
And I've done that one time. I scrapped a song entirely and actually Cherry took it.
Yeah. And it's a heater.
It's actually, it's a good
check it
song.
out.
It's a good song.
Let you go from Blossom. It's great.
It just, I don't know. It just was, I couldn't write to it. I like hearing y'all play
I
it.
wrote
I'm
some
glad
amazing
y'all
lyrics.
have it.
You should check it out.
We will.
So yes, it's happened once or twice.
Okay.
So Roxy's out. Cherry Mantis.
All right, I'll talk to you guys later. It's been great.
All right. So, you've had a few gigs, right? Do you have a favorite place to play, or maybe somewhere in Arlington that you really want to play at that you
Yeah,
haven't?
what's on the dream list?
The Dream List?
Yeah. See what I did
That's
there?
a really good song title, and they just stole it.
What's on the dream list?
Dream
I mean, I would.
Where have we played?
On my Dream List, I'd say the Levitt.
Oh yeah, that'd be.
I want to
awesome.
play the Levitt.
Yeah, I guess there's no topping that. Yeah, because we were kind of new. We're newer to playing in this band. Like here, we played in Caves and Dr. Jekyll's and the Growl.
That's what I call the Arlington like rock triumvirate. Like those three venues really like are kind of the backbone of like rock music here in Arlington.
I think Caves for me is probably the most. I have the most fun there.
Yeah, they've always got a crowd there. You
Yeah.
know?
Always. The energy's
I was about
great.
to say like it has a cool vibe, number one, but like because it's such a small place, I imagine like
It gets
the energy you feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the very first bar I ever went to in Arlington.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it's kind of like the place to go.
It was 2007. It was like happening.
Yeah, I started going. I'm
It
gonna
was
age myself.
happening.
It was a happening scene.
It's always been happening. Like they started in like 2002 or something like that, and like I started going in 2003, and like it was bumping back then. So like,
I bumped in at this festival I was at. With the one we had here.
The
brain-
West Main.
Oh,
West
yeah,
Main.
yeah.
Yeah.
I got off stage because I played with 3 other bands and I was very tired. And I talked to this couple, and they were like, "When's your next show?" And I was like, "It's at Caves." And they were older, and the husband was like, "Oh, I used to go there when I was in college." I was like, "Wait, it's the same place?" And like, yeah, it used to be called something
Skippy's
else.
Last
yeah,
Resort.
Yeah.
My father-in-law.
really?
Yeah, my father-in-law was always like, "Yeah, there used to be this cool bar called Skippy's Last Resort," and I was like, "Yeah, it's called Caves now. It's still cool."
Wow, I didn't know that.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
So it's funny. I text Roxy last Saturday. So I was at a metal show at Mavericks, and not shockingly, the band backed out. And so I was like, "Hold on, I know maybe a couple bands I can maybe try to get in." And Roxy was like, "No, we're out drinking with celebrating the birthday." I was like, "Okay."
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, "Well, maybe now Mavericks could be another place you guys could play."
They have started up again. They
Yes,
stopped
they
for
have.
a while.
They got it. Yeah, they got a new person running the music. So I think
Oh, who is it?
it's the sound guy. I forgot his name.
Steven.
Possibly Steven. Yeah.
Yeah,
Steven.
Very nice guy.
Steve.
Yes.
That's his name.
But yes.
Nailed it.
So are y'all recording like an album or like an EP or what
Yeah,
are
what's
recording
going on?
plans?
Come on, Gabe.
We recently got horns in our songs now, so I think we are kind of
Horny.
Yeah. Super horny.
So horny.
still fine-tuning our songs, but I think we have a small vision in the future sometime
because-
soon.
It's in the works.
Yeah.
We're in the
together.
planning
I mean,
stage.
you're brand new, right?
Yes. Yes, we are.
Because like I think none of the songs sound the same since like we started last year, And last year there was nowhere to play or anything, so we were just writing the whole time. So.
Plus, we were trying to figure out what exactly we wanted to do. So when we were writing songs, we were just writing all kinds of different things. Yeah. And like we were talking about, we all have these different influences. So when we were, first starting to write songs, they came out in different ways. And now we kind of have a more sharpened vision of kind of the direction that we actually really want to go towards. So.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So I'm going to do this individually. What do you guys hope to accomplish?
Say that again?
What do you hope to accomplish?
Like personally, professionally?
All of the above.
Your dream list.
Yeah.
Like as a group or just on our own as well?
Musicians.
Yeah, as musicians.
You got too many dreams.
That's not a thing.
Katie?
He's stunned.
He is, wow, yeah.
He's like, whoa.
13. Recording as much music as I can, being done in the best sounding way as I hear it. Obviously, I want to get famous and whatnot, but if I can just put out music that I personally really like, I think that's all I'm really striving for.
Yeah, I like that. I like that, man.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that's good. For me personally, one, I want to get so much better at songwriting. Like, I feel like my songwriting is okay. I feel like a lot of times I don't feel complete with the words that I use. It doesn't quite get across what I'm trying to say a lot of the time. But I think that just comes with songwriting in general. It's hard to write something and be like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I want. At least for me, that's the case when it comes to words. So I want to get better at songwriting and what I do with that. And of course, I want to get better vocally. There's a lot that I'm learning from everybody around me. I definitely want to play more shows. Like, that's so fun. I love doing shows. I want to do more shows. And I also want to spread out further. Just a little bit, you know?
Don't want from Arlington or
yeah, from Arlington. I want to spread out a little bit. You know, we've been
Metropolitan
playing.
is a big place, so.
Yeah, you know, we've been playing around here, and it's great, and this is home base for sure. But I want to see the sights as a band.
For myself and just the band in general, I do a lot of music, and I do a lot of music, especially with Gabe and Lewis. Just continuing to do that, just at a higher level, and me and Lewis especially have been doing this together I started with him when I was like 14 or 15.
Oh, wow.
And I turned 23 last week.
You guys went to school together?
Yeah, we went to high school together. So, it's just, at this point, this is like the thing I've done the most. So if I can continue to do that, just keep getting better. And I started singing and rapping on my own recently. I'm doing that. And so if I can continue to do that, especially this is a new group, so this is something else added to my list. It's just continue to do that until we get rich and famous, and me and him have a TV show. So that is the goal.
So the goal switches from music to TV show?
Immediately.
Okay, I'm here for it. I'm into it. I just want to make sure I was following.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off of that. So we have very similar goals. So out of all the projects, just hopefully something takes off. That's kind of the joy of involving yourselves in many things, is that you have more shots,
Yep.
But I never take on something I don't love, of course. So get rich and famous for just to put the music out there and have a lot of people listen is cool. And like Justin said, man, go into doing other things. I'm trying to be like Quincy Jones,
Hey, yeah, okay.
Do music and then make TV shows and just movies, etc. Just trying to do it all.
All right, I gotta ask then.
Yeah.
So do you have a couple scripts that you've been working on
You
for a
have
while?
scripts? I just have ideas.
Okay, so never mind. I'm not going to ask you for your idea because then somebody's going to be like, "Oh,
That's kind of, they're kind of good. They're kind of good.
That kind of speaks to y'all's personalities, honestly.
But no, yeah. So that's one. I also want to act too as well.
Are you gonna
maybe
stand
I'll
up?
That's not bad. Maybe I'll write a musical. I don't know. But I also play the tuba too, and
All right.
after
Damn
I
good.
do all the stuff, make
Cool.
the millions, then I would like to settle down and just play in a symphony somewhere.
very nice."
And he's a god. He's good. He's great.
Renaissance
You'd
man.
be the music leader for something.
Huh?
You'd be the music leader for something.
Yeah,
Kind of like Questlove.
Ooh.
Yeah, see?
that'd be fun.
Be on a late night show, bro.
Yeah.
So
We'll get you late
I'm
night.
the yes man.
if people want to find you on social media, where can they do that? Or follow you? Where can they see where your shows are?
Okay, well, we're mostly active on Instagram, so you could find us at the #1 Dream Feed, one word.
Okay.
So at Dreampy, but with a 1 right in front of it.
All right.
We do got Facebook too. We got Twitter.
I don't believe
We do
we
not
have
have
a
a
Twitter.
Twitter.
I love the
No.
dynamic. Is do we have one?
No,
I
I don't think so.
Tumblr?
No.
don't know. That's still who's got.
Flickr?
Yeah.
But on Facebook and Instagram.
MySpace?
What's your Zanga? Is the question. What's your Zanga? Is the that was
Zanga.
Wow.
Whoa.
Brody, I was like, you like dated
Live
yourself.
journal.
What the hell is Zanga?
I didn't ask live journal. So it's okay.
Yeah.
So we have a question we like to ask everybody, especially our first-time guests. Do you have a favorite pizza place in Arlington?
There's a right answer.
Yeah.
And there's only one
There is
answer.
a right answer.
There's literally one answer.
I'm gonna say old school.
There you
Yep,
go.
and that's the answer.
Yeah, that's it.
Most people get it right, and if they don't, it's because they haven't been there yet.
Yes.
Or they like Mama's Pizza better, for whatever.
That crust, I will give that crust.
Yeah,
a Mama's
sometimes
great.
I just crave a Mama's.
It's
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, but that's a more chain, right?
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, that is the
Small
problem.
chain, yes, that's fair.
But
But
yeah,
yeah,
like
old.
Mama's. Mama's is good too.
Mamas are good.
Is, am I
No,
wrong?
no,
Do we all agree?
I agree.
It's
I
old school
agree.
spot.
Yeah, that's I think the only pizza place I've been in Arlington. So
Okay.
I will say.
You're good.
Yes.
You don't really need to go anywhere.
I say
He
that's
does concur.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you guys, and stay tuned.
I'm here with the voice of the Texas Rangers, Eric Nadel. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing great, John.
So, it's been written that you've always wanted to be a sports broadcaster, even since you were a kid. So, who as a kid influenced you to really want to be that voice behind the sports?
Well, the first announcers I heard were the Yankee announcers, Red Barber and Mel Allen.
Right.
And it was listening to them that I actually asked my dad if those guys were getting paid.
Right.
And when I found out they did, I decided, well, that was a cooler job than my dad had. My dad was a dentist. I said, I think they got a better job than you. But the guy who really inspired me the most was Marv Albert. When I was in high school, he was the New York Rangers and New York Knicks radio announcer.
Right.
He would do the home games. Whichever team was at home at Madison Square Garden, he would do the games.
Right.
And I would get my homework done early so I could listen to every word he said because it was so exciting. And I had this feeling that that job would not only really be fun, but it would be great to entertain people the way he was entertaining me.
Right, exactly.
To be able to do that for other people would really be special. And so I started really pursuing it when I was in high school.
Right. So, how in high school did you come across that? Like, I mean, did your sports team have an actual announcer?
No, I
Okay.
went to a summer program at Northwestern University after my junior year in high school that was designed for high school students interested in radio.
Right.
And they basically taught us how to be a disc jockey. They didn't teach you how to be a sportscaster, but they taught you how to be on mic.
Yeah.
We had a lot of voice and diction, which was interesting because there were kids from all over the country.
Right.
You know, and there were Southern guys talking like this, and there was me talking like this because I was from Brooklyn, New York.
Right.
And so they showed you, what your regional accent was all about and how you had to get rid of it.
Okay.
They also taught us what we needed to know to get an FCC third-class license, which is what you needed to do back then to be a disc jockey.
Oh, wow.
And that enabled me the following summer to get a job as a summer replacement in Hope, Arkansas.
Okay.
After my senior year in high school.
Wow.
I actually worked for 6 weeks in Hope, Arkansas, replacing the disc jockeys when they went on vacation. So when I went to college the following year, I already had some radio experience. When I went to the college radio station, I was able to pretty much do whatever I want, and I got tons of airtime, including immediately getting on the play-by-play crews for football and hockey.
Right. Yeah, in Arkansas, there is only one team, and it's University of Arkansas. I got family from there, so
Yeah. Well, I was more into spinning the records on a country station.
Right.
Buck Owens and the Buckaroos were the big group there, and Glenn Campbell that
Right.
summer.
Wow.
That's who I was playing.
That's fantastic. So you've been the voice now of the Texas Rangers since 1979, but you grew up a fan of the Dodgers, the Brooklyn Dodgers. Do you feel that your love is kind of torn between two teams?
No, pretty much when the Dodgers moved to Los Angeles, I stayed with them for a little while, but once all the players were gone who I had rooted for with the Brooklyn Dodgers, I didn't have the strong attachment to them anymore. And what really happened was the New York Mets came in 1962. The Dodgers left in 58.
Right.
And all we had was the Yankees, and we didn't like the Yankees. We knew they were the evil empire even back then. But when the Mets came in 62, we became avid Mets fans.
Okay.
And they kind of replaced the Dodgers. So if there's any conflict with me, it's between the Rangers and the Mets. If the Rangers ever played the Mets in the World Series, I'd root for the Rangers, but I wouldn't mind as much if the Mets were the ones who won.
I was going to say, because last year, obviously, when the Dodgers were here and the World Series was here, I didn't know how much that...
Yeah, no, I had no interest.
I was just happy to be in the new ballpark, really, at that point for me. So.
Yeah, the air conditioning is sure is sweet.
It's quite amazing, yes. The thing, so we talked briefly before, I was on the grounds crew for the Rangers for a while, and it's funny that they never thought, oh, it's not like it gets colder here between May and September, or that we don't get flash rain for no reason whatsoever.
You know, our ballpark, the ballpark in Arlington, which opened in '94, was a few years too early to have affordable technology for a retractable roof.
Right.
It came really 2 or 3 years after that ballpark was designed and built. Had our ballpark opened in 1997 or 98, they probably could have afforded a retractable roof. But at the time they built it, a roof would have cost more than the entire stadium.
Exactly.
That was the situation in Toronto, which was the only retractable roof at the time. The roof cost twice as much as the stadium. And the taxpayers of Arlington were not going to pay that.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Well, so I was going to ask later, but I'll ask now, since we're talking about ballparks. You've been in all three. If you could Frankenstein a ballpark out of all three, what would you take that you loved from all three ballparks?
Well, from the original Arlington Stadium, I would take nothing.
Okay.
It was a minor league stadium.
It was.
That was enlarged to major league size by adding 20,000 bleacher seats.
Right.
There, you know, it was cool because most of the seats were close to the field and had a minor league cozy feel, but it just wasn't a big league facility.
Yeah.
The wind was just hellacious.
Yeah.
It was really hard for us to work there. From the ballpark in Arlington, I loved the home run porch.
Yes.
You know, I loved the office building in center field. More than anything, I love the way it looks from the outside.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And I'm so happy that they didn't have to tear it down, that I get to look at it every day on the way to our ballpark. New ballpark, you know, it's obviously not a showpiece from the outside, but on the inside, I love the way it's structured, where the decks kind of overhang each other, so the sight lines are better and the seats are closer to the field. So, you know, that's something that I really love about the new ballpark.
I love that too. Plus, obviously, the roof. You know, any time of the
The
year.
roof is great, and the sound system is magnificent.
Oh, it's
you know, it's
now.
so much better than at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. It's great. When I get there early and, you know, Groobs is starting to crank out music, you know, I'm ready to start dancing in the booth. I'm sending them songs to play.
How are you?
You know, and I didn't do that at the old ballpark because I could barely hear the music at the old ballpark.
It was not, even after they got the World Series money, their first bit of World Series money, and they said they upgraded the sound system, it still sounded terrible.
No, and it wasn't nearly as good as other ballparks. It wasn't that great. There were other ballparks, you know, that sounded better, much better.
Right, it's true. Yeah, we've had Groobs on the show, and Groobs is literally a DFW legend like yourself, and he's like you said, he's cranking the jams out there. People love it. I love seeing people just comment on Twitter, just like, hey, this song's great. Thank you for playing this song. It's the best. So, as a sports analyst as you are, do you have a certain ritual you've always had before games, or has it kind of evolved over the years, or how do you prepare for a game?
It's kind of evolved in that I used to do a lot of work at home.
Right.
And then I would get to the ballpark, and a lot of the preparation had been done. And when I would get to the ballpark, I would take advantage of the time to speak to the players, to the players on both teams, to the announcers for the other teams. I still do all of that when it's made available. Right now, we can't do that. Hopefully, that'll change pretty soon. But I don't work at home at all anymore.
Okay.
One of the reasons is I have to get to the ballpark earlier than I used to. The manager's show used to be recorded at about 5 o'clock for a 7 o'clock game. Now it's recorded at 3.
Whoa.
The manager wants to get the media obligations out of the way early so he can do the more important parts of his job. As a result, I need to be there at 3.
Right.
That's plenty of time for me to get prepared for the game and do all of the research and the paperwork that I used to do at home before I even left for the ballpark.
Right.
It's also kind of nice getting there at 3. I miss the rush hour traffic. I live in Dallas.
Oh, okay.
So when I would get to the ballpark at 4:30 and 5, traffic could be really bad.
I imagine.
Now my drive out isn't really painful at all.
That's right. Well, 30 is always going to be a pain no matter what. So
yeah, I've got some alternate routes with the bush.
Yeah.
I've got some good ways of sneaking in. I can take the LBJ Freeway 635 into the bush down to Division Street or 180, I think they call it there. Sneak in the back way.
Smart.
And I can avoid I-30 completely.
It's true, because I-30 has always been a pain. Ever since I got my license, it's been crazy. So you do so much for animal shelters, mental health organizations. Where do you feel that your need to give back comes from?
It probably comes back from my mom, who was very active when I was a kid in an organization in New York called the New Hope Guild for Emotionally Disturbed Children.
Wow.
And she kind of set an example for my sister and me about that. Also, my dad was just a really kind person. He was a dentist, and he was always on call. Most dentists aren't like that.
That's true.
He gave everybody his home phone number.
Wow.
Any patient could call him if they had a toothache, no matter what day it was, what time of the night. He would drive to his office. It was about a 15-minute drive. He would drive to his office and meet them there. So the whole idea of giving back, doing for other people what you would like them to do for you, was transmitted to me very early.
That's fantastic. Is there a call is there a call that's your favorite, and there's a call that you're most famous for?
Probably both the same. When the Rangers won the pennant for the first time, and Neftali Feliz struck out A-Rod, and the Rangers in 2010 won the pennant. That's by far my favorite call, and I think that's the one that people probably identify me with. It was interesting because I knew after the final out that I would be quiet for a few seconds to let the crowd roar. Turns out I was quiet for almost a minute because I was so overcome with emotion, I couldn't talk. The way the ballpark exploded with balloons and confetti and all of that, I was really emotionally moved. And, that moment is way above all the others. We had Nolan Ryan no-hitters and a Kenny Rogers perfect game, and Josh Hamilton hitting 4 home runs. And probably my second favorite is 3-run homer by Ramon Vasquez that got the Rangers to 30 runs one night in Baltimore, an all-time Major League record.
I remember kept getting those updates. I was like, how is this possible?
That call was really special.
Yeah. I was actually at that game when they won the pennant, and I was also taken with emotion, and I started crying. There was no one sitting down from probably, I'd say, the 3rd inning on. It was just the energy in that crowd. If you could bottle that, you'd be very profitable. Yeah,
it was incredible.
Yeah, and I actually have the bobblehead at the house with
that call
on it, which is so fantastic. So you're in the Texas Rangers Hall of Fame. You're in the Texas Baseball Hall of Fame. You've received the Ford C. Frick Award by the Baseball Hall of Fame, and numerous other awards of excellence. Is there a certain award that means more than others?
Well, the National Baseball Hall of Fame is really the epitome, for somebody who does what I do.
Right.
There's one announcer each year gets that award and, gets their plaque up on the wall in Cooperstown.
Right.
And the first 2 guys who won the award were Mel Allen and Red Barber, the guys I grew up listening to.
Right.
And to me, it's like it seems wrong for me to be on the same wall as them. It's like there should be a separate wall for those 2 guys and maybe Vin Scully, who's the greatest of all time, and the rest of us who won the award should be on another side of the room. But it's voted on by your peers. It's voted on by the guys who have won the award previously.
Right.
So that that's something that you really can't get a higher honor than that. In this business.
Have you get a chance to meet your heroes?
Yeah, I've met just about all of them. I was fortunate that Mel Allen was still working when I started doing this.
Okay.
He wasn't doing Yankee games, but he was doing This Week in Baseball, and he would come out to Yankee Stadium, and I got a chance to meet him and tell him what a big influence he was over me. I never met Red Barber, but Vin Scully I've met many times since we played the Dodgers in interleague play. And a couple of the other guys who were idols of mine and served as mentors, Jack Buck was one of those guys. Marty Brenneman, who recently retired as the voice of the Cincinnati Reds, Dave Niehaus in Seattle. All these guys really helped me because, I was a hockey announcer first, and when I switched to baseball, I needed help.
Of course.
And, everybody was extremely giving. Everybody treated me like an equal, even though, that was ridiculous. I had no idea what I was doing when I started doing baseball. And, I'm really grateful to all of those guys.
Yeah. I mean, at one time, they also knew nothing about what they were doing, so I'm sure there was somebody else who helped them as well, so it's just them passing it down.
Yeah, fortunately, that's the way it is in this business, and just about everybody I know responds to any request they get from a minor league announcer or a college announcer or a high school kid. Yeah. We're all very good about that because, we were all in that position once. And I had a lot of announcers back then, hockey announcers, not baseball announcers, who did not respond to me when I sent them cassettes, when I was doing minor league hockey and asked to be critiqued. And I just concluded I must really suck and nobody wants to tell me. But, I never forgot that. It had a big effect on me. I almost quit the business at one point because I wasn't getting a better job and I hadn't gotten any feedback from any of the guys who I respected in the business, and I didn't really know where I stood.
So if you had any advice to give to somebody who is getting in the business or maybe has been in the business for a little while and still trying to find their footing, what would you give them?
Well, I think the most important thing is to realize how tough the business is. Mm-hmm. The odds are against you. Yeah. There are far too many guys and women now applying for every job. So the likelihood is you're not going to get a major league job. Right. So you have to realize that right from the start. If there's anything else you're passionate about that you might do for a living, do the other thing. Right. There's also no security in the business. Sure. You can be really good and get fired. Right. Some of the best guys John Miller got fired. Ernie Harwell got fired. Right. There's no guarantee you're going to keep your job even if you're good. That being said, if you're passionate about it and if it's what you want to do, figure out how to do it. If you're doing a play-by-play, phraseology is really important. Yeah. You have to totally master all the phrases to describe the things that happen. How do you do that? You listen to other announcers, you write the phrases down, and then you incorporate them as you're doing practice broadcasts. You just have to practice being on the air. It doesn't matter if you're actually on the air. Right. You have to do it. I used to go with a tape recorder to Mets games and sit in the upper deck, or go to a high school field, or go to a hockey scrimmage when I was in college and do practice play-by-play. You need to do that. You need a great command of the language. Right. And, as much English as you can take. Public speaking and drama where you have to appear in front of an audience is really important too. Right. Do all of those things, work really hard at it. And there are very few people who are just naturals at this. It's a skill, and the only way you develop it is by doing it.
It's true. Just getting the reps in.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we have a segment on the show called Tournament of Toppings. We're trying to find the best pizza place in Arlington. You've been in Arlington for a long time. Do you have a certain pizza place that's your favorite?
Well, I'm gluten-free, so I'm probably not the guy to ask about that. But I will say this. I was just overjoyed when I saw Cane Rosso come to Arlington. Yeah. Because before I was gluten-free, I was a regular at their place in Deep Ellum.
Yep, that place.
And they do have one of the better gluten-free crusts.
True.
So I do go there with some regularity on my way to the ballpark and pick up a gluten-free pizza.
That is the thing about gluten-free pizzas. I like to try all kinds of food, even if it's gluten-free or vegan or whatever. And there's not a lot of good gluten-free crust, unfortunately.
No,
same thing with cauliflower crust.
It doesn't seem to have the chewiness that you need to be a really good pizza crust. It tends to usually be very thin and brittle.
Yes.
And Cane Rosso is a little better than most in that regard.
I'd say so. I love the different pizzas they have every month.
Yeah, they're really creative in the things they put together.
It's true.
They're also really good people. They have an animal rescue in Dallas. They're wonderful members of the community, and I'm really glad they're part of it. Here in Arlington. I know the people at Legal Draft are really good friends of mine, and they lobbied hard to get the Cane Rosso people out here. Yeah. And I'm really glad they were successful.
Yeah, I love Greg and Kelly over there. They're the best. Yeah. So if people want to listen to you and then also maybe find you on social media, where can they do so?
On Twitter, it's Nadel ER, and on Instagram, it's Nadel Eric16. And I used to be on Facebook, but my account got hacked several years ago, and some guy started selling Nike shoes in my name. And so it took a long time, but I finally was able to deactivate the account, and I haven't gone back there. So just Twitter and Instagram, you can find me.
Well, there you go. Mr. Nadel, I appreciate your time. And
thanks, John.
Thanks for coming on the show.
It was a pleasure.
All right. Thank you so much to our guests, Dreamfeed and Eric Nadel. Appreciate everyone coming out, meeting with us, as always, fostering those connections and making Arlington a cooler, more interconnected place in such diverse and far-reaching ways. Music, sports, we're here for it.
And I want to give a special congratulations to everybody who won the Lone Star Emmys that happened this past Monday. They did a virtual sessions, a little bit in Arlington, but hopefully, your boys and your girl get a little nominated, a little attention next year.
Okay with that. Yeah.
Putting it out there. But Eric Nadel, a fantastic conversation. I could talk to him for hours, but I didn't want to take up too much of his time. And he loves Connie Rosso too. He, is a gluten-free guy, so gluten-free crust is where it's at. And then Connie Rosso has got that for you.
They do. Speaking of things that Arlington has for you, every Monday night is trivia night at Dr. Jekyll's.
Dr. Jekyll's, we know it well. Every second and fourth Tuesday at Create Arlington is their open mic / poetry night. Come out there if you got any spoken word, whether it be comedy, poetry, sing a song for them. They got it for you.
Every Wednesday at Jambo's Barbecue, catch both a Meat Coma and UTA Jazz night from 5:30 to 7:30.
Take your own little Texas challenge while you're out there. And then when you're done with that, you've already got your belly full of barbecue. Head on over to Division Brewing, have a beer or two from 7 to 9. They have trivia night every Wednesday night.
So keeping on the open mic train, every Thursday, Grounds and Gold has an open mic from 5 to 7 p.m., and I'm pretty sure that I know the guy who does hosting every other week.
That's right. He unfortunately will not be there this week, but he will be there next week. Last week, from what I heard, it turned into a karaoke night, surprise karaoke. So you never know what's going to happen there at the Grounds and Gold open mic when Rody John is, in fact, hosting. But when you're done there, head on over to One Love Lounge every Thursday. They have their own open mic starting at 8 p.m. that they call Artist Love Night.
And if you didn't make any of those open mics, or you didn't get your open mic fill, every first and third Friday, head over to Inclusion Coffee for, you guessed it, their open mic night.
There's so many artists in the city and in the Metroplex that, not one open mic night will do. So all week there's an open mic night. If you are an artist or know an artist, tell them about them, have them come out, have them showcase. Hell, even if you just want to go up there for once, it's not Madison Square Garden. There's like 20 people in the whole place. So who are you going to be embarrassed by? So go on.
I learned a new U2 song on my ukulele. I think I might have to come out.
There you go. There you have it.
All right. Well, as always,
make sure to go out and eat local, drink local, and
go rediscover your city.
Tag us and send those pictures over to us on Facebook, Arlington Citizen Media, Twitter, ATX Citizen Media. Tag us on Instagram, Arlington Citizen Media, and send those pictures the old-fashioned way. Email arlingtoncitizenmedia@gmail.com. Also go to our website, www.arlingtoncitizenmedia.com. Don't forget to subscribe and give those 5-star reviews of the downtown at Apple Music, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and also hit us on SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and YouTube.